Hello, welcome or welcome back to my video. Today I'm actually going to make another one of those tarot videos. I switched up the setting a little bit. I did my previous video on my Hello Kitty table and now I actually have a desk, so I'm going to try a different angle. Let me know which one you prefer, which one do you think is clearer or a bit nicer for your eyes. For today's reading will actually be messages you need to hear right now tarot reading, but I will try to focus it for these 2 weeks. So wherever you find it, whether it's today, Monday or Sunday, depending where you are right now, or wherever this video finds you, let's say in a few months time, it'll be for the next 2 weeks, anything you need to hear, anything you have to prepare for, at least a little bit of a pick-me-up to start your week. So for today's piles, we have 2 little gashapon here. This will be for pile A, and this one will be for pile B. I will hold it later for you to pick slowly. You just have to pick one that you feel most drawn to, and that will be a reading. Timestamps will be in the description, and you can just go with, let's say pile A, just click on the pile A timestamp, pile B's timestamp, and that's how you're going to find your reading. Take your time to pick a pile. Pause the video if you need more time. If you chose this pile, which is pile A, this will be your reading. So I picked about 6 cards for you, so let's see what you got. First card, we have the 9 of Cups, 8 of Pentacles, the Chariot, the King of Swords, the 2 of Wands. I have a feeling that it should be kept in reverse, so we'll just keep it like this. And the last card is the 9 of Wands. I'm just going to cut to the chase. You need to stop procrastinating for this week, because I do see that if you put in the work with the 8 of Pentacles here, if you put in the work and with the Chariot, moving forward, doing things you have to do, and having discipline of the King of Swords, you can achieve really good things that you will be very emotionally satisfied with. Whether it's like a creative endeavor, whether it's like an academic thing, you need to start pushing yourself a little bit. Because it's not to say you cannot rest, but now is not a good time to slow things down. They want you to act on your passions. They want you to act on the things that you want to do, as it can give you so much joy and so much forward movement. As you see here, this card is asking you to stop waiting around. You have everything in your hands. Why are you waiting around? You can't wait for the right moment. You can't wait for the right people. You just have to do it. Whether it's to do it alone, whether it's to push yourself a little bit, you have to push yourself to create this thing that you want to create, at least even practice this thing that you want to do. And we do have like the 9 of Wands here. There is a little bit of, not say trust issues, but I don't think you fully trust yourself. Because you see here with like the little bandage there, maybe you failed in the past, maybe you made some mistakes in the past, and you don't think or you don't believe that you can achieve the things that you want to achieve. But from the cards overall, I do see there's so much positivity there, but it just depends on whether you want to push yourself or whether you want to motivate yourself to do this thing. There's a message about bed rotting. So maybe you've been rotting in your bed for too long. You might need to clean your room a little bit. There's a need for you to organize a little, clear out your trash, clear out any food. Please do that, because I think it's good for you to reset a lot of things in your life this week, because it can be a stage for a lot of good changes to come in. But if you don't allow the change to come in, you will be stuck in the same place over again. Because if you look at this one that you picked, it's like, he's like lying there, just chilling, but you can't stay like this forever. There needs to be a point where you get up and start doing things or putting effort into things that you want to do. Because the emphasis is on something that either could be creative or just something that you feel really motivated to do, to create, whether it is to make a video, or whether it is to start posting on social media, whether it's to draw, whether it's to create something that feels meaningful to you. This is not something that is an obligation. It's not something that is, a responsibility. But it's more so of something that you want to do yourself, but maybe you feel a little bit drained, you feel a little bit tired, you feel I'm a bit lazy to do this, I don't know if I can. I'll say go for it. The only thing holding you back is yourself and your own fear of failure. Because I do see with fear, right? This is a really good card. See how happy he is? He's just really proud of the things that he's doing. So there's most probably this thing that you're doing requires you to share it with some people, or whether it requires you to, share the joy, or whether it's like a piece of work that you create, whether it's a piece of artwork, whether it's a video, you need to put it out there. You'll see good results with it. And all you have to do is just put some effort. If you like it, it won't feel like much. It's just like you need to get out of it. You need to stop like lying around, oh, I'm lazy, I'm this. You need to stop giving yourself excuses. Although I really like, encourage resting. But there's also a need to, self-motivate. You cannot just live through life like this. There will be times where, yes, you want to lie down, you want to sleep, that's fine. But you've been doing it for too long. And you're putting yourself into a mental rut. And when you don't feel productive, you're going to make yourself feel bad all over again. It's kind of like a cycle. So this is kind of like a call out in a way. Maybe you've been a bit too lazy recently, at least not finding enough motivation to do something. That you have a lot of ideas, but I don't see you acting on it. So this week, or at least these 2 weeks, is a good time to just really put your effort into it. Whether it's slow, whether it's quick, you have to start doing something. Whether it's the first step, whether it's like a halfway thing that you never finish, it's good to start right now. This is like a specific one. Anyone that has like a sewing project, or like crocheting, something related to fabrics or clothing that you did halfway that you did not continue, please get back onto that. That actually can bring you so much joy and a lot of satisfaction with the things that you create. So aside from the cards, I'm gonna dive a little bit into like extra messages, like channel messages. These might not resonate for everyone, but it's only for a select few. We have names that start with J. So whether it's Julie, Julia, James, Jack, Jacqueline, Joseph, all the J names are a bit related to this group. If it's not, then you just disregard this part. It's only for a select few. But mainly, like, they could be friends that you have to cut off, or maybe it could be your own name. But there's a need for you to be a bit more aware of the people around you. It's not to say they are bad people, but the way that they think. Because I do see part of the reason why that you don't really trust yourself is you're not really surrounded by people who get what you're trying to do. Maybe these people don't really see the value of what you do. Maybe they make fun of you. Maybe they just think not much of it. Could be even parental figures, but it could be friends as well. People that are not really supportive of your journey, or you feel like you won't be comfortable sharing with these people because you feel like they might judge you. So those are the energies that can sometimes demotivate you and influence you into being like someone like this or holding back completely. So that's the one thing that you have to pay attention to as well. Also, some of you might be a bit dehydrated lately. It's not to say you're not drinking any liquids. I do think you're drinking something, but you're not drinking water. You might be drinking like maybe a Red Bull, anywhere caffeinated drinks. Try to minimize that a little bit and focus more to drinking more water. You can get sick easily if you don't do so. But I think that's all for your reading. Thank you for watching. I know today is a little bit of a shorter reading, but it's going to be a quick one. I was supposed to make this video, I think, on Wednesday, but I woke up and I just had a feeling that I need to make this video today. So hopefully it resonated. Take good care of yourself. Stop procrastinating. Thank you. Bye bye. If you chose this figure, this will be a reading. Okay, I picked about 6 cards for you. So let's see what you got. First card is Judgment. Second card is the Ten of Swords. I'm going to keep this in reverse. We have the 5 of Wands. The Temperance card. I'm going to keep it in reverse, but I'm going to read it both ways because there's a message for that. We have the 4 of Cups and the 7 of Pentacles. Okay, first thing right off the bat, the main thing I see here, this 2 weeks can feel like an emotional roller coaster for you. Look at the 10 of Swords. It can be related to some sort of loss, but at least a lot of like emotional turmoil, whether it's like sadness, depression, those kind of things. I do think this week can be a little bit rough. But during this week, I do see a lot of people struggling to have empathy for you, whether they're fighting with you, whether they have conflicts with you, which even makes you like more stressed out than you already are. Like with the Judgment card, right, I do think you know what's happening. You know your feelings. You're very clear of whatever you're feeling and going through right now. But it's the people around you that makes you feel very unseen. Because if you see here, it's like the lack of or understanding or emotional understanding. And you might feel like, why are the people around me like this? And at times because of this, I feel like you invalidate your own feelings because you start to doubt your own like thought process. Am I immature? Am I this? Am I that? But we go back to the temperance actually. Like just now, normally the temperance is all about, let's say regulating your own emotions, finding balance within yourself. It's like grounded energy plus like an emotional energy. But in reverse, it's like now you're a little bit off balance. Normally you can be like this. You are a very sensitive person, and that's a good thing. But the people around you do not really value that. They don't really understand that. So it can make you feel like, am I the crazy one here, or why am I struggling to actually meet people who understand me? But there's one thing that I want to remind you about, which is how our emotions are actually a constant variable in our life. Because our emotions just exist. They just feel. You can't tell your emotions that, hey, you're not supposed to feel this way, or let's say you don't feel this way. It's just not how it works. If you're sad, you're sad. If you're mad, you're mad. It's just simple as that. But it's what you do with those like emotions. If you look at our head, the crown represents our thoughts, how we think, our perception, everything, our understanding of the world. And to understand our emotions and interpret them in a way that feels right, that honors your feelings, that's the way that you should live. Because a lot of people get this wrong. The logical mind is not as, I won't say reliable. It is reliable to a certain extent, but it's not as constant as our emotions. The mind can change. The mind, if let's say you read 2 books, 2 different ideologies, you can pick one that suits you best, or you can pick one that you feel is right. It can change. The mind can always grow. It can always be educated. It can always be adjusted, but the heart cannot. So your emotions are never really wrong. What is wrong or right will depend on how you act on those emotions based on your mindset, based on your perception. So if you see here, you know what you feel. You know what you're going through. But when the people around you, the practical world, or say that the material world, the people that we can see, we can touch, we can hear, all those things, they tell us what is opposite to what we feel. It's normal for us to doubt that, inner self or that inner voice. But I want you to learn how to be a bit more firm in this way. Understanding your emotions and viewing your emotions is something that's non-negotiable, that you have to fix, that you have to work through, no matter how uncomfortable, will help you push through a lot more of those like resistance or self-doubt moments in life. Because I do see, right, if you choose to value your emotions and say, let's say you feel uncomfortable, you feel unhappy, and you make a decision that honors those emotions. Let's say you feel unhappy because of this person or the way they say things. Do you voice out? Do you walk away? You don't just say that, oh, am I being too sensitive? I'm not supposed to feel that way. That's the one mindset that will keep you stuck and make you feel like you're doubting yourself all the time. So see here, like, you're so drained, you're so tired. I feel like during this time, please get some rest if you need to. And with the cards here, it's like nothing logical feels right to you right now. Of course, I'm not saying that being logical is unimportant, but there needs to be a balance between the logical world and the emotional world. Because it's like yin and yang. You cannot exist without one or the other. But I think you're leaning too much into your practical sense to a point that you might be ignoring what your emotions are trying to tell you. The discomfort that you're feeling, the unhappiness that you're feeling. All these things can accumulate and that can lead to all these more draining energies, like a very tired, depressive type of energy. And I don't want you to be here. Because I do think you are a very happy, bright, emotional, sensitive person, but you're feeling blocked because of how you're allowing all these external forces to kind of affect how you feel about yourself. So overall, from the cards, right, I do believe that you need to start acknowledging your feelings a bit more. Shift the way that you view things. You don't have to suffer. I think in the previous reading I mentioned this a little bit, not needing to suffer to achieve the things that you want to achieve, because part of that is actually understanding your emotions. If you understand your emotions that, let's say they don't want to suffer or they don't want to go through this, then when you voice it out, people who don't get you might think that, you're crazy, or they might not understand you. They try to argue with your perspective, but it's not going to be a solution that works long term. You have to make a solution that honors you, makes you feel comfortable for the rest of your life. It's not just making yourself feel comfortable, because sometimes people can misunderstand that to avoiding your problems. That's not comfortable. That's just putting it aside and for the emotions to grow bigger and hurt you later on. So being able to pay attention to, let's say, the smaller issues, the smaller emotions that you're feeling, but not also, like we say, using your brain to just cover everything up. The small emotions are just as important as the big ones. I hope that makes sense. Like the small things, if you communicate about it, It's easier to communicate because it's a small thing. It's not so dramatic. It doesn't feel as, as draining as this card, but important enough for you to maintain the little small parts of you. It's like, a car. If you see a small issue, you need to fix it immediately. You don't want for, like, let's say one part to get broken and then you just leave it there, and the second part gets broken because of the first part, then you get like a really big bill later on for your repairment. So if you can, I would say try your best to just learn how to honor your emotions. If you can communicate with people, that'd be great. If you cannot, just learn how to walk away. But never discredit what you feel. So this one might not be like a very solution-based reading, but it's more of like a reassurance that you don't have to feel bad for the way you feel. You're not a bad person for being upset. You're not immature for being upset. It's what you do with it. But instead, I do feel like the people around you lack the emotional maturity that you need as support. So they might not fully understand what you're going through, and they might give you a lot of negativity in the process. But that doesn't take away any part of your experience at all. So that's all for your reading. Thank you so much for watching. Hope it resonated, and take good care of yourself. Bye bye.